Alright, so before I start talking about wacky foldable displays, I just like to point out that honestly, after doing all those CES conferences yesterday from the day I'm recording, I'm honestly not too impressed because a lot of the technology we've seen at these conferences are the same things that we've seen before and we know are coming, like self-driving cars and robots, which I'm I did a video on the LG Chloe line of robots, and and then things like 8K TVs and OLED TVs. I mean, what the hell am I gonna say about an upcoming 4K TV at LG other than ooh, I think it's gonna be really good. What I'm mainly doing these CES videos for is one, consumer products. I expected like a lot more cameras and other devices to be announced at CES, and I didn't really see that much as of right now. I know Nikon announced a new telephoto lens with a built-in teleconverter, but unless I could get my hands on it, I'm not going to be making a video on it. So, yeah, honestly, not too impressed with CES. And just I don't know. The two companies that impressed me the most were LG and Samsung. I know they're not going to come out with the thing. I'm gonna be talking about foldable displays in this video. That's definitely not something coming in the immediate future, but I could see practical applications or even a cool what if scenario. So don't expect too many CES videos coming out of me. I know I did the live streams and I made those private because one, copyright. I'd like to learn more about live stream copyright issues before doing them again. I would even implore if like somebody from like LG or Samsung's PR departments are watching this video. No, I'm a journalism student. I love talking about tech, but I want to know the legalities of doing this. Since you guys didn't really give me copyright claims, I'm assuming it's okay. But next time, if I were to do the live streams again, I would love to do verbal commentaries. I don't want to do Twitter commentaries since I think that's kind of a chintzy idea. So, yeah. But given that, wow, it's already January 9th. I'm not really expecting to do too many more CES videos. I think the only one I'm going to do after this is talking about Samsung's TVs. But for now, don't expect too much more. Let's dive into this topic. How long have I been recording? Already over 2.5 minutes. So let's talk about LG's foldable displays. So, and just for the guys watching, I hope like before somebody leaves a comment saying LG fanboy. Yes, I like LG, but if there were more interesting products to talk about, I would be glad to tell you about them. So, yeah. But let's get into the topic of this video. I've already been rambling way too much. So, LG, well, the thing is, LG and Samsung do this every year at CES. LG showed off several examples of what the future of displays and TV could look like. One of the first ones that really shocked me was they showed off this 18-inch OLED display that can, and I'll have a video up proving this to you, that can be rolled up into a cone. And it was just like, what the fuck? And the image is still moving. It's just so surreal that, even such a thing exists. I mean, yeah, it's not coming to stores anytime soon, but just the fact that we're seeing this prototype here at CES is really wacky. I mean, yeah, the display is 0.18 millimeters thin. And this is not a 4K display. It's actually 1200 by 810. So around the 720p range. So yeah, this is definitely not a display we're going to be seeing anytime soon. I mean, hell, it's just a display. Are we going to see this attached like a phone or a tablet? Which, as of right now, as with the rest of the industry, I think that's the only place I could see a foldable display. As well as it needs to get cheaper to make it more cost effective so it can reach a mass market is that it's probably going to be part of like the next generation of foldable phones. So maybe it'll be something like the Kyocera. Oh my god, Bobby, it's Kyocera. What the fuck are you? Kyocera, just like the city named Kyoto. So like, do you guys remember the Kyocera Echo? I almost pronounced it wrong. Where it was kind of like a Nintendo DS, except it was like a smartphone. I'll have pictures of that to show you. One of the problems with that, they tried to have like a thing where you can use two screens to make one screen, is that it had this seam in the middle, which was kind of annoying. I don't think it was like a deal breaker, but it was just weird. So it could be a part of that. I don't know. There's something I don't really want to see foldable phones, to be honest. I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of just putting it in your pocket and away you go. And now that phones have really sizable screens like the Nexus 5X that I've gone back to using at least until I can find my iPhone, which is a 5.2-inch screen, I think that's plenty big enough. I mean, yes, a foldable screen would be cool, and like I said, this was an 18-inch display that could be rolled into a cone. I guess if you want to get funny, it'll be like the next generation of dunce hats, where it'll be like you'll see moving pictures of it saying "I'm a dunce" or something like that, or it could be the next really cool birthday party hat. But that's where I really just see foldable screens being. As of right now, they're basically here just for the manufacturers to say, we can do this, we have the technology to do it, even though we don't have the means to make it cost effective or to put this in stores. So yeah. And LG also showed off kind of going into the battle of the TVs, which is kind of the thing at CES all the time. They showed off a 65-inch TV that can actually roll down like paper. I'll have video here. It actually like rolls up. It can roll up either to show you the full screen, like if you're watching a movie, or it can roll up partially to like show you things like your sports scores, notifications, or your music player. And the box that this display fits in is about the size of a long soundbar. So I'm assuming it can be rolled up into this kind of box. And this one I actually think is both more practical and something that could be more likely to be on the market than just a rollable display. Now, it's not coming to market anytime soon. I'm not saying you're going to see this in stores for the holiday season for $30,000, but I'm saying this could actually be, I could actually see this becoming a part of somebody's life. Like if they wake up and their TV's in front, let's say somebody's bed, they has a bedroom and their TV's in front of them, I can actually see them like, turning on the TV and it only pops up partially to like maybe show like the latest news or what they have to do today, things like that. I mean, I know you can do that with a smartphone nowadays, but I'm just saying in the future I could see somebody getting used to doing that. And the fact that it's also their TV and they can use that to, Netflix and chill or watch movies in their bedroom. I mean, that I could actually see. So, yeah, and like I said, I should point out, though, the first time I saw this display on video, I honestly thought it looked like it was so thin, it looked like a projector screen, so I thought that it was really surreal as well. And of course, that the box that the TV sits in, it's going to be used probably to hold, like your HDMI ports or your USB Type-C ports. I didn't really look into the specifics of that, but since the TV is so thin, you're obviously not going to be plugging in like your PS4 Pro right into the TV itself. So, yeah, it's a really cool setup. Like I said, I think I could see that in a more realistic scenario than the 18-inch OLED display. I don't know. I go back and forth between OLED and OLED. The first time I heard the term, I heard it's pronounced as OLED. So, whatever, tomato, tomato. And the next OLED display that LG showed off was an 88-inch 8K TV. So, yeah, I mean, I know, well, I'll get into my thoughts on 8K in a second. So, sounds about as simple as it is an OLED TV in 8K resolution. I wasn't there to see it for myself, but it would probably be the best looking TV I've ever seen. So, yeah, so I don't really have much to say other than it's a really big TV, which I'm not really sure, unless you're like a Saudi Arabian prince or the president of the United States. I can't really see like the mass consumer owning a TV like that anytime soon, and LG didn't announce if it was coming to market, which if it did, it would probably cost like God, probably like $50,000 or $30,000. But yeah, it's basically too expensive for the mass market right now. In several years, it will probably become something a bit more feasible. But there's two things I kind of wanted to talk, which first of all, 8K, which yes, I know like 8K's been seen at CES. I remember a few years ago, Sharp was one of the first to show off an 8K TV. And it's just so weird. I feel like we're just getting used to 4K. I mean, hell, I don't even know anybody that owns a 4K TV, at least not off the top of my head. So the other thing where I'm kind of about 8K TVs is that with 4K TVs, especially if you get like a more realistic smaller size like a 55-inch or 65-inch, you're not going to see much of a difference until you sit up close. Like, yes, I've seen even with 4K TVs, I've seen them, at stores. I've seen them at like Best Buy, and they're definitely impressive. I mean, God, you can even see details like cars moving from far away, or like people in buildings, or really tiny details that you definitely don't notice with a full HD TVs. But when you sit back at a more realistic difference, like if you're sitting with the fam, especially if the TV is at a smaller size, the difference is more imperceptible. So that's yeah, so that's the other thing about 8K TVs, which I'm really kind of questioning. Because, if it's a higher resolution, I mean, when the pixel count, because here's the thing, when it comes to the number of pixels per inch, even though the number keeps going up, you're not going to really see a difference, unless you're doing like some kind of virtual reality thing where it's right up to your eyes. So I believe the limit is you start to not notice the pixels starting at around 300 pixels per inch. On a TV, that number goes down to something like 100 pixels per inch. So that's kind of another thing. Like, are they just packing in more pixels to give people the excuse to buy more TVs? Because they'll say in the marketing, hey, it's higher resolution than 4K, which technically speaking, yes, but are you going to notice the difference? So in that case, I'm not really sure where displays are going to go. If it's just going to look just as good, especially if you're sitting at a normal viewing distance. Yeah, so, I mean, right now, 4K, it's just starting to get mainstream. Like, they're coming out with, like, 4K movies. You can buy 4K movies on iTunes and other media streaming places. I don't know about Netflix. I know like there's a few shows on Netflix that are shot in 4K, like House of Cards, but after the Kevin Spacey scandal, are you really is anybody really into that show anymore? So yeah, I mean, just the fact that like we're just starting to get 4K content, 8K doesn't 8K doesn't really exist unless you're rich enough to own like a Red camera. So yeah, so it's so weird. I know like Samsung, which I'll be talking about in a upcoming video, where they're trying to push the idea of scaling, where they're able to take a video as low resolution as 720 by 480 and scale it up to 8K, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, if 8K were to come to the market, that's what you'll be basically watching. Like, you'll be watching content scaled from either 1080p, or if you did make the jump, 4K movies. So yeah, and I know yes, you can shoot 4K videos with your smartphones, but honestly, I can't. But in the case of a smartphone's video recording, I honestly can't tell the difference between 4K and 1080p. So yeah. So that's kind of how I feel. Again, I know these three products aren't really meant for the mass market just yet, but it's so weird that we're talking about 8K at a time when 4K is just starting to get a mainstream. So either way, still really cool. Really cool. But seriously, those foldable OLED displays, or those more flexible ones, are really surreal. So alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.